Good morning. I hope everybody had an incredible holiday and made wonderful choices for yourself, honoring your bodies, honoring your choices, making choices that you feel really good about, because that's what loving ourselves is all about, right? It's all about making choices that feel good, not just in the moment, but something we can really live with. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, so it's those prioritizing what you want most over what you want right now. And it's such a hard concept. I struggled with it. I struggled with having the foresight to wait for what I wanted, to work for what I wanted, and to really be okay with that. Yeah, what you want most over what you want right now. And I think that that is the theme of healing our body. It's that constant priority of, hello, New York. I'm really happy to see you guys. Really happy to see everybody. Really excited to share Liz's story. Cystic acne is not an easy thing to live with. I know people get a pimple or two and it's really upsetting, so you can imagine what living with cystic acne would be like. Something I can't imagine. I mean, I had really horrible rashes on my body and sores from when I had Crohn's disease, but I've never had cystic acne, so that's not something that, I ever experienced, and I can only imagine how difficult that would be. Oh yeah, rheumatoid arthritis. I see you. I wonder if you are taking medications for it or how you're managing it. Rheumatoid arthritis is no fun. Inflammatory, autoimmune disorder, anything inflammatory in the body is no fun. And unfortunately, it's fed by sugar of all kinds. And our favorite thing is sugar of all kinds. Natural sugars, artificial sugars. Cutting all sugars is one of the best things you can possibly do. So for any inflammatory condition, whether it's on your face or in your joints, or in my case, in my intestines. Wow, and then the next big hurdle we're going to make together is the New Year's. How does everybody navigate the New Year's? I, for one, navigate the New Year's by taking care of myself and not heading into the new year hungover. That is not my jam. And I think I did it a few times in my 20s and was like, yeah, there's nothing about this that feels amazing. And so no hungover New Year's for me. Thank you very much. I think I want to head into 2021. Oh, there you are. Here, let's see if I can send you a request, Liz. Hang on. All right, request. She gets to share her story on the Bean Protocol and her skin. And hey, Kathleen. Hey!
Here we go.
Hi!
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good, good.
Yeah. Did you have a good holiday?
I did. It was very low key. Just hung out with a couple friends over in the mountains. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, super mellow. My daughter was home, my 18-year-old, and we just cooked a nice dinner together. And then we have a tradition of opening a gift before the night before. So we did that. And then the day of, it's fun to watch your very adult children become children when they open up gifts. So
Oh,
that was, yeah. So,
cute.
yeah, it was
No,
nice. I'm glad yours is nice. So how are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm cruising now for the most part in all of this. And I was like going back through our emails, like, oh my gosh, I was like having a hard time at the beginning of all of it. I really didn't feel great. But now I'm like, energy. I like wake up way earlier than I used to do, and I just feel good and like balanced.
So we spoke in June,
Hmm.
but you had already been playing around with the beans for a little while, right?
Yeah. Uh, I had heard your podcast on the with Lacey via Julie Paleo MG. She had posted something about it, and I was like, I have nothing to lose. I felt like I always ate really healthy and clean and like didn't really have sugar. I'd already cut out coffee. I was still drinking matcha. So I was like, all right, I'll just like throw some beans in there. But then when we spoke, you're like 8 to 12 times a day. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of beans. So that definitely threw me for a loop.
Yeah, and it was, and you're right. You did really, you were eating pretty clean, and I think we talked about cutting out the matcha. It's interesting because I get notes from clients now who have cystic acne, and they're like, "Oh, I was doing so well, my cystic acne was gone, and then as soon as I had coffee, it came back."
Really?
Um, yeah, because it's such an endocrine disruptor, right? So anything that's going to disrupt the endocrine system is going to show up for those who have skin issues will show up in the skin. For me, it'll show up, as anxiety because that's one of my trigger points. So for everybody, it's a little different. But yeah, so she was like, "Oh, I was doing so well. I figured I'd add a little bit back in here and there," and it was like, no, bad.
Yeah. Once, even like a decaf latte, since I've been off all caffeine, and it made me so tired. Like,
Yeah.
not worth it. Like, it smells so good, and I've worked in coffee for years. I live in Seattle, so it's like a like religion around here. But I was like, not worth it. I was like out
No.
on the trip, and I was like, I just want to go take a nap.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting that that was your immediate response to it, was like tired. Like
Oh
your
yeah,
body was just like, no, not happening.
yeah, no, not at all.
So, do you want to share a little bit about your story with your acne and your cystic acne and kind of what you've tried and where you've gone and yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's been. I mean, I've had acne like since I was a teenager. I went on birth control when I was 15. That helped my skin, and then I went off of it when I was 20, and like my skin was awful. Not as bad as it was this time, but like pretty close. And then I did some acupuncture and like stuff like it was hormonal, and that seemed to help for the most part. And slowly started creeping back in. I went on spironolactone, which I really had no issues with. I had no negative side effects. Skin was really clear. I, but I just kind of like hit the point last year where it's like, I don't really want to be on this forever. I'm 30, think about like, my life further down the road and having kids. And I'm like, I should just wean myself off of this now. And I thought that I did. Like, everybody's like, if you wean yourself off, like, you're usually good to go. I was not good to go. And so in like January, it started like picking back up. Like my acne getting like slowly worse. It's definitely around my more. And then like, once lockdown started, so like March, April, it just getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like trying all different skincare products and exercising a ton to like try, you know, like sweat it out. And I was like, I mean, everything. I've given up dairy for years, all like the things that I know trigger it for me. And then I was just in like a stressful situation. I had lost my job. I was like not in a great living situation. So I definitely think that played a part in like how bad it got. But it just, I mean, you posted those pictures, like it just got so awful. Like it was painful, it was itchy. I had a staph infection like on top of cystic acne. It was, I mean, like I cried daily. Like I couldn't sleep like on either side of my face because it just hurt so bad. And my skin was just so dry. And I mean, it just like really affected like my self-esteem. And I didn't want, like, I just moved back home in June. So I was like, I didn't want to see my friends. I didn't want to go and do anything. I just felt like it was really bad. mentally.
And and I think that's something that most people don't know is that when you have cystic acne, because it itches and you can scratch it, it can cause little fissures, and those fissures can get infected with staph or anything, infection basically. So it's not uncommon actually for cystic acne to get a little infection in it, which is such
Yeah.
a bummer. On top
It,
of everything else.
right, right. And that's just like that itch though was just like like you can't do anything about it, and it's just so I was just so uncomfortable. I mean, and so I was just kind of like
Were
I'm
your cycles pretty normal, even though, because a lot of people's, for some people, their cycle, like yours were really long, right? And it started to shorten with the beam protocol.
so like my cycles were pretty long. They were like not super regular. They were really painful, and but like once I had it, it was like all kind of the same. But I think like month one on the bean protocol, I ovulated for like the first time, like noticeable signs of ovulation that like I
Mhm.
had not so long. I couldn't even tell you the last time I had that. And now I'm like with the full moon every month on it, which is like makes me really happy. So
Full moon, yes.
yeah,
And
like
do you, are they kind of like, have they regulated also to like 30 days or where are they now?
yeah, so they're like what they're like 28 to 30 days.
Awesome.
I don't get I mean sometimes I get like a little crampy, but I haven't had like the like headaches, like sore boobs, any of that stuff that usually just really is like, or like I'm like ragey,
Yeah,
bitchy.
messy.
So that hasn't happened either. It's been really
I know.
great.
Isn't it crazy like to think that, it's as yes, it's cutting out all of this stuff, but isn't it crazy that it's such a simple solution? Like it's not necessarily easy, right? Because eating as many beans as I told you to eat is not easy, right? Because it takes concentration and dedication, right? Because you have to be like, oh, I need to get beans. Oh, I need to, because it's not, when you're healing, it's not about hunger, right? And
Right.
especially when it's a hormonal cycle that's inflammatory. So it's not about hunger. It's just like, okay, it's time to eat. It's time to eat. I mean, would you say that that was one of the hardest parts is getting in
Oh,
all those beans?
hands down. Like I felt like I like woke up, started eating, and then like ate all the way until I went to bed to like try and get as many beans in as I could. And then it just like I think anything new at first for me feels like overwhelming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I getting enough in? Like, in with my breakfast and my lunch and my dinner, and then like bringing stuff to work, and I'm like, is this gonna be good? And then like I at the beginning felt really hungry, and so it was like planning that fat snack was like super crucial to me. I like lived for that. That was like my happy point in the day. But now I don't really like I have it like a few times a week. Like I'll have some peanut butter or almond butter, but like I don't crave that in the same way at all, which
Yeah.
has been very interesting.
Well, because your blood sugar, as it starts to regulate, also, like a lot of times when people come off caffeine and fruit and stuff like that, their blood sugar will go through a re-regulation where you'll have those hunger hormones kicking up. So yeah, because I do remember our back and forth emails, kind of when you were settling into it, because it did it. I think it felt really overwhelming for you, also.
Yeah, yeah. The and that's why I had to like be like, okay, I'm just gonna start out with like eating as much as I can.
Yeah.
Basically every time I was like just eating beans and like kind of had to like I'm gonna stop counting. And then it slowly just kind of started to be like, okay, now I'm like in a flow where I'm eating like all day, every day. And it doesn't, I think I just tried to change too much at once.
Yeah, I do try to encourage people to kind of ease into it. But I think when there's this opportunity to heal, it's really exciting and it's hard to ease into, it's like, wait. And also I think we have this misconception that if I do it faster and quicker, that I'm going to heal faster and quicker. And for a lot of us, which you probably saw, like things probably shifted. Like actually, let me ask you, how did things shift for you? Like how did you see your skin shifting and energy shifting, and how long did it take for the hunger to go away?
Um, I feel like it was like a solid month, maybe a little more that I was like, like was just like was hungry. I was really craving-y. And then it definitely like, it like almost just stopped. Like once like August, I remember like I went on like a couple camping trips and stuff where like I don't really need like anything else like to like bring like that fat snack. Like I was just bringing my beans and I felt like I could go do that kind of stuff and wasn't hungry and tired. Like I was really tired at the beginning. I felt really bloated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then once I like hit that, I feel like March, I felt better. And looking back, I was trying to figure out, I was like, when did my skin really start clearing up? And I feel like September ish, it was still like there was still like a few things, but it was like way, way better. And like October was like the first time that I like would go like even hang out with my like friends without makeup on. And like so, that wasn't my first thought every morning of like, oh, I'm to put on makeup. Like so I feel like October was when it was like notice like just so much better that I was like, okay, this is, like I can handle a zit or two. But definitely it really took like 3 months for it to like pretty much clear to the point that it wasn't that like inflamed rash basically all over my face.
Did that feel to you, did it feel like a lot of time, or did you go, oh my God, it only took 3 months for this to start working? Or what was your response to kind of the process of healing?
I feel like at the time I'm like it was just I don't know if it was like this is taking so long, but I'm like it was more I'm just like I just want this to go away. Like it's been going on for like, you know, almost a year off and on of like that just there being something on and then I just felt like it was like God, like it just kind of like happened where like I stopped thinking about it so much. I stopped obsessing, which was probably when it started to like get better. It wasn't the first thing I thought about in the morning. It wasn't like so it I mean, yeah, probably at the time everything felt like it was taking a long time. But right like when I look back, I'm like 3 months is what it would take for any medication again. It's what it would take like, at least or to like anything else. I mean, 3 months for that severe of acne, I'm like, that's super, super short.
And was your acne that severe when you were younger, or did it get worse every time you went off or on a medication?
No,
Or
that's the worst it had ever
okay, okay, wow,
been. So,
yeah,
like,
it
I,
looked really painful. It looked so painful.
yeah,
No,
it was.
yeah. Somebody asked if you start with the white diet, and she did not. The white diet is only, it's a 15-step program that only is for people with severe gut issues. So for cystic acne, it's a different protocol, and yeah, and I always try to see pictures ahead of time to see how severe it is and what program that I need to build it to. And I remember when you sent me your photos, I was like, oh shit, we got to go all in on this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know. I remember you had just talked to somebody else about acne. When I was on the phone with you, I'm like, I would kill to have her skin. And you're like, oh, send me a picture. And you're like, okay. I'm like, yeah, like that. I get it. Like, it sucks no matter what phase it's at. But I'm like, I would kill to have 10 pimples instead of like, I mean, like everything.
Yeah, it's
So,
our face, it's our face. So it's our like it's tough when our imbalance in our body shows up on our face because it's just there's no hiding, right? Like even I mean, I remember getting pimples as a kid and even putting pimple cream on something almost made it feel bigger to me. Like,
yeah.
it's like, okay, now it's bigger. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, right. That's how I'm like, I was like, there's nothing topical was like, it wasn't making a difference at all.
Yeah.
And I was like walking, like I always had my hair down, like, cause I'm like, I just wanted to like cover as much as I could. And like, I was always wearing a hat and I was like, just basically trying to like hide my face.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it always on your cheeks or did it all show up on forehead or was it always cheeks and jaw?
I had a couple on my forehead. It was, but mostly cheeks and my like jaw and like my neck. I had them down my neck, which I've never had. But I really never had them before this on my cheeks either.
Oh,
Like
wow.
that was a new experience for me. Like I talk to people and they're like I'm going to an actress and she's oh, you must have had like acne for a while, because like, I have scarring from it, and I'm like, no, like this is all happened within the last year. Like these scars are, and like that's a whole nother thing I gotta like get on top of. But like that's because I never had it on my cheeks. Like I always get the chin one just hormonally, like every now and then, especially around my period. But it was
And I remember you also came in and you wanted more of a vegetarian protocol, right? We had talked about maybe some salmon if you were comfortable with it, but really I built you a vegan protocol. And we're like, where did you end up with it? You know, did you end up with some salmon? Did you end up mostly doing just combining of beans and what have you? Like, what ended up being your go-to for it?
I did some salmon, especially at the beginning, like when I was like having like with bowel movements and stuff. Like I felt like the fat on that salmon with the beans was like it just helped me. Like it made me feel better. I still do fish like every now and then. Like I'll do it, I don't know, like once a week or so. But mostly I still do like bean combinations. Like I'll do lentils and then beans on the side or whatever. But I mostly do like different types of beans.
And do
Um,
you feel energetic and good and vital? Like you're now little over 6 months on the protocol, right?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel great. Like I feel so much better. Like I don't even like I used to be such a napper. Like don't even feel like that is like a thing for me anymore. Sleep so good. Like I mean, I'm out and like I wake up and I feel refreshed, and I also feel like just calmer and like more like even keeled, and like not as like the stress factor of life has not like I felt like hasn't affected me as much. I'm like in the process of buying a house and like transition, like big stuff in life where it's like normally I'd be like really overwhelmed and this is a lot, and like throw the holidays in there and all that. And I feel really, I'm like, okay, I'll just figure this out, like just deal with it. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Calm. You got your calm going on. Do you feel like this protocol? I mean, we haven't really tweaked it for you after, like your cycles are regulated. So I actually do have another question. When did your cycles dysregulate? Like when, because you were often on the pill your entire life for acne, I assume?
I was on it for 5 years, and when I was off of it at 20, I really wasn't getting my period at all. That was way crazy. And then I got that back through going to acupuncture and working with a like hormone specialist there. Um, and then it's always been like since then, even like it's never been exactly the same. Whereas like now, I think for the past like 4 months, it's been at 30 days, like exactly on the what, or I guess I don't know, whatever the full moon is. So I think it's somewhere around there, but like it's been like exact. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Um, so does it feel like a sustainable lifestyle, the bean protocol for you?
yes. I mean, I
Cool.
feel like I crave them when I like, I've gone days where I'm like haven't had as much as I like normally have been. I like miss them. So
Are you more on a longevity protocol and has your painful periods resolved over the 6 month period as well, or where are you with that?
yeah, my periods have been great. Like I woke up, I mean, I'm a couple days from starting mine. I woke up today and I'm like, I feel like a little like heavier, like just in my abdomen, but like nothing like not cramps. Like where I
Yeah.
used to get like heating pads, puking, they were so bad cramps.
No,
So
stop it. That's horrible.
yeah,
Oh
like
my God.
that's why originally I went on birth control, because I'm like, I just don't want a period because it hurts too much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like this is, yeah. So I've cut back on beans. I feel like a
Good.
little.
Good.
I have them like with all my like meals and like snacks in between. And I just try and like also do, instead of like regular pasta, I eat like the chickpea pasta and like substitute so that I'm like getting that in wherever I can. So
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you've kind of fallen into a rhythm now where you're just lock and load and keep rolling. And
yeah.
it's really, you're getting a lot of incredible nutrients too, which since you only do fish once a week, you're still able to get those combinations that give you the energy and the vitality and the support that you need. And you're not even craving fats, which is crazy, right? So you're only eating fat snacks a few times a week.
Yeah, I mean like sometimes at night I'm like still feel like unsatiated almost.
Hmm.
Like I'm not dehydrated and I just ate like a good dinner, and it's like I'm like that's when I know I'm like I need fat. Like there's
Yeah.
something my body's like we need something. So I'll just like have a few spoonfuls of peanut butter.
Are you having some avocado and olive oil and stuff like that though?
Yeah, I like will usually throw olive oil like on salads that I make and stuff like that. And I haven't really been having avocado, which is I used to be like obsessed with them. But I definitely do olive oil.
Cool.
So
And do you, because some people find that nuts contribute to cystic acne, but you don't really find that connection for yourself anymore?
I don't. I definitely, I was having, like, when I was just like at the beginning, when I was like not feeling great, my friend was like, I really feel like you should like stop with the peanut butter. And I'm like, the peanut butter is the only thing that like makes me happy right now. So I do wonder if I like kind of got into the flow more, gave that up more, wasn't eating it every day, if that really did help kind of like accelerate my healing for me. But
It's individual. Yeah. Like some people it really hinders and some people it doesn't. Like it's fascinating to me. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't notice now that like if I like eat it that I like break out at all. So I don't think it is for me, but I don't know. It could have also I don't it could have been a few months ago because I was just eating it so much at the beginning. But I mean I love like I feel very satiated when I eat nuts. Like they make me feel really good.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. Well, you look beautiful and I'm so happy for you. I mean, after a few of our back and forths, I was like, oh man, is she going to stay with us? So I was really stoked when you were like, all right, check out my results. I was like, yes.
Yeah,
Good for you.
so appreciate you being so like responsive and letting me complain and answering my questions. And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna stop bitching about this and just do it. And like, I think I just needed to like step back and be like, I'm gonna ease into this and like do it at my own pace for a minute. And that for me definitely made a huge difference. But I like were so like when I was reaching out all the time, like I so appreciate you being listening to me and being responsive and helpful and
Yeah. Oh, that is what I live for. I mean, when starting, I mean, I remember starting this for myself and how, it was just like, wait, I literally was eating beans 24 hours a day. And I was just like, for me, it was like, cardboard. Now, I never got constipation because I had Crohn's disease, which was the opposite. But when you're getting bloated and you're uncomfortable, like I was bloated all the time, right? So I just know what it feels like to ease into this protocol or go into it like full blown. And it's pretty intense. And you did incredible. And all of your questions were really just to help you feel confident on your path. And I was really happy to support you. And I'm so happy you stayed with it and just made it work. So thank you. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. This has been the cheapest, easiest, like best do for my acne. And that like I feel it just makes me feel good to be like know that I'm continuing to like heal my body throughout not putting shit in it. Like that feels great. So
Yeah, unwanted chemicals, and what you're doing is within your control, right? Like you have the choice to eat for health, you have the choice of what you put in, like it's all To me, I think that's the most powerful part of eating for health is that it's all in your hands. And I think that's also what makes it kind of scary because you're like, wait, I have control of this, you know?
Right, right. It is scary, but it's like also just so nice to be like, I don't have to go like get a prescription refilled or like it's not, I mean, it's just like it's just simple and I it's great. I mean, I'm really happy about it.
Are you doing Instapot beans or canned beans?
A little of both. So I'm been living in a trailer. I think we talked about and you're like get an Instant Pot, and like, that's just trailer living aside has been like
Yeah.
the best thing. So I've been doing when I'm there in the Instant Pot. I'm house sitting right now, so I've been on the canned beans just because I didn't bring it with me. But yeah, I mean, I just am constantly soaking. I'm a black bean person. Like I just love them. Like those are my go-to. But I've done like pinto beans and like a mix of like kidney and black beans and something else, like all sorts of stuff. But
And they all slightly have different, my big thing that I tell people is find the bean that makes you the least bloated and uncomfortable. Stay with that one until you're really on the bean protocol. And then once you're in a groove, that's a great place to start exploring because a lot of people start like so many different kinds of beans. And I'm like, okay, but it could just be one of those beans that's making you super bloated. Like, so one bean at a time, find your bean, stay with that bean until you're fully comfortable with all of that fiber and then start exploring because the fun thing about exploring is that each one has a different nutritional profile to it. So there is benefit to eating variety in the end, but early on, I mean, I ate black beans and lentils, I think, for 2 years. So,
yeah,
you know.
bothering me at first, and now I'm like, I can't. I'm in a total lentil phase right now. I like can't get them.
Do you do the French
But
lentils? Like the
what?
little green French lentils? Do you
Yeah,
do? I love those. They hold up in a salad. Like you can do so much with a French lentil.
yeah. I've been like making like I have like winter squash with like stuff with lentils and like so good. I just love them. I've been doing those in the Instant Pot too, and like with just spices and like vegetable broth, and
Mhm.
they're so I'm just totally on a lentil kick right now.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing your story. It's so inspiring. Oh, that's so funny. Somebody's like mung beans for life. And you're so inspiring. Thank you so much for working through the hard parts. You know, that it takes commitment and, you know, pushing through that time. So I'm so proud of you for the work that you've done for yourself and the health of your body and your skin. And thank you for being an inspiration for other people to take care of themselves, which is what the story is.
Thank you. I appreciate it for come on.
Yeah.
And it does help people that are struggling with this. I get it. I've been there. It is possible to heal it. So,
Cool. And have an incredible new year. And if you ever need anything, you know where to find me. I'm just on the other end of your email. So
all right. Thank you
cool.
so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much.
Bye.
Bye.